I had a chance to test this Macro43 camera. Hi, it's Peter here, and let's get right into the business right after the disclaimer. This Fuji GFX100RF is not mine. I loaned it from Color Kolmio, that is representing Fuji cameras here in Finland. I wanted to test this because this is something that I might get for myself. That remains to be seen, and I will tell about that in the video too. As usual, all the things that I say are my own opinion, and Color Kolmio or Fuji has not seen this video before, nor have they said what I should say in this video. So everything that I say is based on using this camera for a few days. I already mentioned why I'm testing this camera, and the reason is that I am considering getting one. It would also be my only camera for my professional work and for my street photography. Why would I do that? Well, the reason is that I don't even remember how many years I've dreamed of having really minimalistic gear, just have one camera that I can use for everything. This compact camera is just perfect, or is it? I'm gonna find out on this video, and I hope you're interested in finding out too if that is something that you might like too. I know it's a very hefty price, and I will talk about that a bit later. But let's get into the look and feel. And this camera is very well made, and it feels really good in my hand, and it looks gorgeous. And what I like is that there is no text here in the front, so it's pitch black. I don't know if you can even see it because it's against the pretty dark background, a black camera. The only text that they have is on top here. And also I like the included lens hood that is a square format, and I think lens hood should be square because the images are usually like this in most cases. So in that regard, it is really a fantastically made. And then the usability. I've been using Fuji cameras. I'm filming with my XM5 right now, and I have two XS20s which I use for my pro work. So I'm quite used to using the menus are similar, the customizability is similar, and you don't have to think what can be customized to a button because they most likely is possible with any button. So you can just make the camera the way you want them, the buttons to be. And there are a few extra levers in the front, and you can change these the way you want. And then there is a lever here and a dial here and another dial in the back. And then there's quite a few buttons that can be customized. So in that sense, it's very versatile, and it was very easy to pick it up and set a few things and go out and shoot. So that's of course, if you're not using Fuji before, then it might be a little bit different, of course, but since I'm so used to it, it was just fine. And another thing that I really enjoy is the rangefinder style, so that I can put the camera like this and I can still see what's going on around. It's easier to find the perfect time to make that photograph when you see what's going on around you. If the camera is in front of your face, in front of your eyes, it just doesn't work that well. And I think all cameras should be a rangefinder style now, because there's no need for the EVF to be in the middle. And then there's one thing that I don't really fancy in a camera is one of these shutter speed dials. I prefer PASM, or the PASM dial, where you have program, aperture, shutter speed, and manual modes in the dial. And I do like, of course, the aperture that's here because it's more convenient. And then I would have a shutter speed back here in the back wheel, or exposure compensation, and then the shutter speed in the front wheel. But it's the way Fuji has made this, and some might like that, but I prefer the old. Well, it's not actually, this is old, but the previous most used dial is the PASM dial. I think that's a lot better. And then let's talk about the features. One interesting thing is the dial here in the front, where you can change the aspect ratios of your photographs. And it has the usual ones. 4/3 is the native aspect ratio, and that's why I call this camera a macro 4/3 camera. It has 3:2, and then it has this pretty awkward 65/24, which is a panoramic mode, and it also has 17:6, which is even more panoramic mode. It still has 50 megapixels when you're using the panorama mode because it's 50% of the sensor area. That's something that I first thought that I would know, well, why would I do this? But yeah, to be honest, it was fun to use these different aspect ratios. And there's also the square format if you want that. And since the camera has 102 megapixels, it's also possible to crop in. So there is, or it's adjusted to this little lever here in the front where you can change the different fields of view. The original field of view is equivalent to a 28mm lens if you're talking in full frame terms. And the crop modes are, let me check so that I say them correctly. Where did I put them? Yeah, it's 36mm, 50mm, and 63mm. With the 63mm, you can still have 20 megapixels. So perfect for portraits, for example. So in that sense, this could be a camera that could replace everything else that I have. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if Fuji or someone else, third party, would make a teleconverter that you can attach in front of the lens. So like an adapter or wide angle adapter and a telephoto adapter. That would make the camera even more versatile. And then before we continue with the image quality, let's talk a little bit about the video features. This is also very important for me because most of my professional work is videos, and that would be one of the biggest decisive thing if I ever decide to get one. And when this was launched, they did not talk about the video features at all. So first I was a little skeptical that they're probably just there because they need to be. But closer look, yes, those are not too bad. They are quite good. You have ProRes straight to SSD drive, and then it has vectorscopes, parade, zebras, so all the necessary things that you need for professional video work. It also has F-Log and F-Log2, so everything's there. The only thing that's missing is the open gate. But then I do have the XM5, so if the client wants, vertical video or horizontal video from the same stuff, I can use that because it has very good video features too. Not as good as this one, but pretty close. So I would be covered with that camera because I won't be selling that one if I decide to get one of these. So not really big concerns about the video qualities. There are a few things that I will talk at the end of this video what I don't like about it. There are a few things that weren't my favorites. Then the image quality. Well, this part will be pretty short because there is nothing wrong with the image quality. It's stunning, and it is even usable with 102,400 ISO, which is, something that I've never had a camera that can do that. And the raw files can be recorded even in 16-bit. So there is a lot of information for post-production. You can really open up the shadows, and there's a lot of dynamic range. So that's not a problem. It's huge, and it's such a good file to work on. And the distortions are corrected with Lightroom presets or baked into Lightroom, so that's not a problem. There are some distortions if you turn them off, but it's not a problem because it's corrected. I wouldn't be too worried about that. So is there anything that I did not like? I did mention the dial for shutter speed, but then there is another thing is the focal length, that it's 28, and that could be a little bit of a problem when I'm doing video work, even though if I have the digital image stabilizer on, it will have 1.32 crop, so it could work for interviews and stuff like that. But then the lack of IBIS is something that I'm a bit concerned. But if you look at this video clip, you can see that it's quite stable, handheld shot, so not a problem with that. This is the digital image stabilizer on and with boost on too, so it works quite well. Of course, if I need to do some movement, then it might not be that good because there is some wobbling in the sides, but I could probably live with that. So that's not the major issue. But then the lens is f4, and that could be something because I would prefer to have it f2.8 lens, but of course the camera would be a lot larger if the lens was bigger. So that's why Fuji decided to make it f4 lens, which is fine when it comes to light because you can boost up the ISO quite a bit with this camera. So in that sense, it's not a problem. But of course, it's a little bit of a problem if you want really, really shallow depth of field, then this might not be the camera for you. But for me, it's not that big of a deal because I usually stop down to f5.6 to f8 anyways. And now it's time to pass the camera to the next YouTuber who's going to test it. You probably know who he is. It's Matti there. So how are you doing?
Pretty good, thanks.
Now you're going to test this for over the Easter. What are your expectations?
I have mixed feelings based on what I have seen or read. But I can't wait to see what it can do, and I'm sure excited to see what it can do. It's a unique camera, and it's really nice to be able to test it out a little bit.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna take my standard street photo walk and see if my street photos improve with this camera.
Yeah, you're going to be a real master with that.
Yes,
No,
probably.
no. I liked it, as you probably have figured out watching my video. Matti hasn't seen it yet because he's in it.
Not yet, yeah. I never watch his videos anyway, so...
Yeah, you just comment on them
Yes.
without watching them.
Anyway, looks real nice, and I'm really happy the demo version is black.
Yeah, exactly. Because camera should be black.
Yes, and black cameras make better pictures.
Oh, exactly. All right, now Matti has the camera back here in the studio, and will I get this camera? Well, that remains to be seen because it is 6,000 euros here in Finland, and that's a lot of money. So I need to probably trade in my XS20s with a bunch of lenses, and I will see how that goes if I do get enough money from that, so I don't have to, break my bank to get this camera. So I'm not in a rush, and I will consider and think about it very thoroughly. And I also will need to test it a little bit more, especially the video side, and see how it actually performs when doing my client work. Here is something else for you to watch. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.